to the Lights Out podcast, bedtime stories for boys and girls around the world. Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you all snuggled up and ready for another Lights Out bedtime story? Good, because you're in for a treat tonight. This is episode 499. Can you believe it? And you're in for a treat tonight. We have chapter 14 of Fing by David Williams, and tonight's chapter is called Up a Tree. So Mr. Meek climbed up the tallest tree he could find. Holding on tight to the Monsterpedia, which was trying to squirm out of his hand, he spotted a number of creatures from the pages of the book. There was a one-winged bird. This is a one-winged or uni-winged bird, which is unsurprisingly flightless. It leaps confidently off branches of trees before plummeting to the ground. Splat, splat, splat. A honkopotamus? This is a distant relation of the hippopotamus, but the honkopotamus is legless. As a consequence, the honkopotamus moves around by honking, the force of the wind being pushed out of the back blowhole is so powerful it works like a jet engine. And despite its size and weight, the honkopotamus has been known to reach speeds of over 100 miles an hour. Whoosh! The mingo, a miniature mungo. The mungo, a giant mingo. The pludge. This is a venomous giant worm, half red, half white. A pludge is too large for the holes into which it burrows and ends up getting stuck. Hence, one half gets sunburnt and turns red while the other stays underground and remains white. Sizzle. A flattened humming bong bong. This hairless rodent hums tunelessly all day and all night. Hum, 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 hum. The humming is so wretched it makes the ears of any listeners bleed. As a result, the bong bong often finds itself being sat on by bigger creatures desperate to make it stop. Squish. A purple fent. This is a species of elephant that hangs upside down from the branches by its trunk. It stays there for so long that it turns purple. If you are walking under, when one of them turns purple, beware. That means it's going to drop to the ground and flatten you in seconds. Doof. A lewd. Not to be confused with a lewd. A lewd. Not to be confused with a lewd. A lewd is a lime green lizard so terrifying looking that it is scared of itself. If it sees its own reflection in the water, it desperately swims away, sometimes for hundreds of miles. Ah. A lewd, not to be confused with a lewd. This is a hairless white ape, which is so embarrassed about being naked that it crosses its legs and hops around everywhere. Skip, hop, skip, hop. Also known as the nude lewd or the hopping lewd. The nude hopping lewd. One was once spotted shoplifting dresses from a women's wear boutique, causing the old dear behind the counter to faint. Doink. However, despite Mr. Meek being able to see for miles around from the top of the tree, there was absolutely no sign of a thing anywhere. The wind blew across the deepest, darkest, jungliest jungle, and his thoughts turned to his darling daughter. As a father, he couldn't let Myrtle down. He had to find a thing, whatever it took. If not, there would be tears. Most likely his, not hers. He thought about home. While the sun was setting across the jungle, Mr. Meek pictured Mrs. Meek putting Myrtle to bed. Right about now, his wife would be reading their daughter a bedtime story before being clonked on the head with a book and fleeing from the girl's bedroom screaming, "Ah!" A tear rolled down father's cheek. It was a beautiful scene. "Myrtle," he said, "I won't let you down." Now, lost in thought, he lost his footing. It was hard gripping onto the tree with just one sandal, and as a result, he slid down the trunk at speed, his bottom hitting each and every branch as he descended. Before he hit the ground with a thud. Woof! Suddenly, Mr. Meek remembered he had lost his hold on the book, the Monsterpedia. "The Monsterpedia!" he exclaimed. Right on cue, the mighty tome thwacked him on the head. Clunk! It knocked him out cold. The end of Chapter 14 of The Fing by Dave Williams, Up a Tree. Now, that was the end of episode 499 here on the Lights Out podcast. Bedtime stories for boys and girls around the world. Good night. I've actually been putting it off for a while because I'm not sure about what to read for the 500th. Oh dear. And you're in for a treat tonight.